Let's talk about the news, cosmetic news. I've been hearing a lot about MAC is back, MAC is trending, MAC is cool again. And for me, this was news because MAC never went anywhere. I've been merely going along, buying my lipsticks and my Studio Fix and stocking up on eyeshadows, completely unaware that this brand had gone somewhere. For me, and possibly for you, it's been a constant. It's always been there, and if I was unaware that it left, I am truly happy that it's back. If you were around in the 90s and you were into makeup, you probably remember walking into your first MAC store. I lived in the Toronto area when MAC was born, and originally the business, I believe, was established exclusively for professional makeup artists. The aim was to provide cosmetic products tailored to the specific needs of professional artists. And at some point, they decided to branch out and start servicing the general public, like us, amateur makeup people, just learning the ropes. And it was like walking into a different world, going into a MAC store and seeing all of the staff who are all professional artists, or at least it appeared that way. The stores themselves, so cool, black, edgy, modern. And then there were the artists in their black, shirts, and they were always so cool and edgy themselves. But they were nice, at least to me, they were really nice. You didn't walk into MAC and be greeted by a makeup artist who was trying to make you look like everybody else. I mean, they genuinely wanted you to be an individual, and they wanted to tailor the look to what made you feel happy. And it was really exciting. It was an exciting time to be part of it if you loved makeup. At the time, MAC wasn't just a brand, it was the brand. And I remember me and my friends, we would go into the MAC store and just swatch with all the different shades of lipstick and sometimes buy nothing. It was expensive. And for young people, it was something you'd go to the store, you would, determine your favorite shade and then just dream about it until you'd saved up your budget to buy the lipstick. The first two products I ever bought from MAC, I remember, were lipstick and Studio Fix. I really remember the Studio Fix because that was a pricey one. But a friend of mine, I remember, came into school and her face looked flawless. And I was like, what are you wearing? Because that doesn't look like the drugstore powder that we normally would put on top of our foundation. It looked flawless. And she said, oh, it's Studio Fix from MAC. Well, probably the next afternoon, I was down there at the mall looking at the Studio Fix and loved it, picked out my shade, NC20, and left without it. But I saved up, bought my first pan of Studio Fix, and have replaced it many, many times since. While I was preparing this video and trying to understand, where MAC had gone since I didn't know it left, I came across a lot of comments from people just expressing their appreciation for MAC and some of their memories of MAC. Just to share a couple with you, one person wrote, my first MAC lipstick was Twig. I wore it to my first job interview. I didn't get the job, but I kept the lipstick. Someone else wrote, my mom wore Russian Red every day, and when I moved out, she gave me her last tube. I still have it. Every time I open it, I think of her. And this person wrote, in high school, my friends and I drove 45 minutes just to get to the nearest MAC. Even buying one lipstick made us feel so glamorous. One person wrote, I was too shy to ask for help. One of the artists came up to me and said, girl, you belong here. I never forgot that. what I found interesting about those comments is they're not just memories. It's almost like they're chapters of people's lives. Their first job or their wedding or a memory of a person or a first date or friendship. I would love for you to share in the comments any experiences or stories that you have about encounters with Mac. I'd like to tell you about one of the most vivid and significant memories that I have of Mac. This memory was of the night before my wedding. I went out for dinner with my closest friends. These were friends that I had had since high school. We had branched off and gone to different universities. And then after university, we kind of all did different things. Mostly we traveled, but not all to the same places. And we were together once again in this really cozy pub the night before my wedding. It was nothing fancy. It was just a really quiet dinner at a local neighborhood pub, and we were all nestled around this table, just talking and reminiscing and just being excited about my big day the next day. And just special in itself. And it was somewhere towards the end of the evening. I think we had just finished dessert. And one of my friends reached into her pocket and she slid this little black box across the table with white writing on it. I knew immediately what it was. And I also knew what color. At least I thought I knew. There was no bow, no card. It was just sliding that black box across the table to me. And I remember opening up and I suspected what color it was. I thought it was going to be brave. The reason I thought that is because I had actually been eyeballing the color brave for quite a while. And I know I had expressed to them how pretty I thought it was. It was this beautiful, muted pink color. And I opened it up and it was brave. And just that moment meant so much to me. So the next day, I was doing my own makeup. The hairdresser did my eyebrows, which was a bit risky. I spontaneously told her she could do my eyebrows. But then I came home and I was putting on my makeup, getting ready to go to the wedding. And, the last thing I took out was this brand new Brave lipstick. And I put it on my lips and I just felt warm, happy, and ready. I wore the lipstick throughout the day, right into the evening at the reception where those very same friends were there with me dancing and singing. And so for me, that lipstick was something very special. And I used it all up. I don't know what happened to the empty tube, but I have certainly purchased it many times over since then. I would love to hear your stories. Do you have a Mac story about a first product or an experience that you had that you remember that you were actually, wearing Mac at the time? As far as the narrative about Mac making a comeback, my understanding is that a lot of people feel that Mac did fall behind. Why? I guess there's reasons I've read that people say, maybe influencers were pushing other brands. Maybe they were having too many collabs. Maybe they weren't on board with the clean beauty. But on the other hand, I've kind of read about their financial situation, and I think Mac has never been falling behind financially. So, but for whatever reason, I'm thrilled that it's trending because if there's more young people out there that get a chance to experience Ruby Woo for the first time, I think that's wonderful. But as far as for me, I'm still there, never left, excited about their new products, but also Just looking forward to replacing those old faithfuls that have always been there for me. So I'll continue buying my Mac products along with some other terrific products that are out there. But yes, I can do a full face of Mac many, many times over. And I'm glad that it's a new trend for young people. And for me, it's more like a timeline. It's a continuation. And anybody who was there at the time and remembers, leaving a Mac store with one of their black shopping bags, it was a thrill. And, well, it still is. Before you go, I'd love to hear your Mac story. Please leave it in the comments below. Take care. Bye.